Hello students, today I am going to explain you important point, that is nothing but pointers in C. So what is a variable? A variable is a named memory location. Variable provides a direct access to its memory location. So when we create any variable, it gets stored in a particular memory location. Can you understand what happens, what will happen when you write x equal to 44 and y is equal to x? So x equal to 44 is called as a initialization of variable. When you write a next statement, y is equal to x, whatever the value stored in x will be assigned to the variable y. But x and y both are having different memory location. So when you create the variable x and when you create the variable y, that values will be assigned to the different memory location. Okay, so that is about the variable. The next point is, what is pointer? Pointers are a variable that contains memory address as their value. So when we see the variable x equal to 44, x is what? X is an integer variable and 44 is a value which we are storing in the x variable. Similarly, in a pointer variable, value is nothing but what? Value is nothing but we can store the memory address. Okay, so a variable name directly references a value. A pointer is indirectly references a value. Referencing a value through a pointer is called as an indirection. A pointer variable must be declared before it can be used. The concept of address and pointers. Okay, so this is the memory representation where it is having the different address 1, address 2, address 3, so like that. Memory can be conceptualized as a linear set of data location. So on disk there is the memory is in terms of a sequential pattern. Variable reference the content of a location. Pointers have a value of address of given location. So this address 1 is having some different location. Address 2 is having some different location, and this address is stored into the variable called as a pointer. So how to declare a pointer variable? As I explained you, integer x. So this statement integer x is called as a declaration of a variable. In a similar pattern, declaration of integer variable. In a similar way, we can declare the pointer variable also. So this integer star ptr, this is nothing but this is an integer pointer. We are declaring a integer pointer. So how we initialize a value to the integer variable? X equal to 10, x equal to 20. This is how we can initialize a value to the integer variable. But how to initialize a value to the pointer variable? When you write a statement, ptr is equal to ampersand of x. This sign is read as ampersand. So when you write a statement, ptr is equal to ampersand of x, so the address of this particular variable will get stored in this pointer variable. So what is the value of x? Value of x can be 10, 20, 30, anything. But the address of x cannot be changed. So let us consider that address of x is 1020. So once you create that variable, address of that variable is fixed. Okay, so later on you can change the value of that variable, but the address of that variable remains same. Then integer, when you write a statement ptr is equal to ampersand of x, what happens? The address of x will get stored into the pointer variable. In this example, ptr points to the variable x. We say that ptr is an integer pointer. So this is how we can create an integer pointer. We can initialize a value to the integer pointer. Similarly, we have a chapter pointer, floating pointer and long pointer. These are the different types of pointer. As we can declare the integer pointer, similarly we can declare the float pointer, character pointer. Only the change is that instead of integer you need to mention over here float or character. Then more examples on a pointer declaration. We know that we have studied the concept of file handling in C also. So file is what? File is a class. You can create the object of that class. So you can create the file pointer also. You can create an integer pointer, float pointer, character pointer. The asterisk, when used as above in the declaration, tells the compiler that variable is to be a pointer. If the asterisk is absent, then it is a simple integer variable, float variable or character variable. But when asterisk is present, this tells you that you are declaring the pointer variable. It could be an integer pointer, it could be a float pointer, or it could be a character pointer. And the thing is that it holds the address of another integer variable. If it is a float pointer, it holds the address of another float variable. The type of data and pointers points to, but not the name of variable pointed to. Then how to use these two operators, ampersand and asterisk. These two operators are called as a pointer operator. Ampersand, address operator, which gives or produces the memory address of data variable. So whenever you want to retrieve the address of particular variable, that time you can use the ampersand or address operator. The star operator, asterisk operator, is also referred as a dereferencing operator, which provides the content in a memory location specified by a pointer. Now we will see how to use the pointers with function. So we are going to understand the concept of pointer with the help of simple program. That is, this program is for swapping of two numbers. You might have done this program, call by value and call by reference, in C programming. So this program, in this program, basically we have only single function. One main function is there, but in addition to that we have one more function, that is a swap function. So what is the job of swap function? Swap function will swap the values of variables A and B. So when we do the same program, call by value, so in a function parameter list, we provide here only the value of A and B. But when we are doing the same program using call by reference, that time we provide the asterisk A, asterisk B, and this is called as a call by reference. So in main function, we are initializing the values of A and B as 5 and 6. Print that values before swap. After swap also we are printing that value, but before that we are calling the swap function. So this part of function is called as a declaration of function. As we know that the functions are having three parts: function declaration, function call, this is called as a function call, and this is nothing but the function definition. So this is what we have declared the swap function, then we are calling the swap function, but while calling that swap function, we are calling that function using ampersand of A, ampersand of B, means we are sending the address of A and address of B to swap function, okay, but while receiving that value, here in a function call we are sending that value, and in a function definition we are receiving that values. So as we are receiving that value, we are storing that values in a variable A and B, and with the help of third variable we are going to swap these two variables, and finally we are printing that value here itself. So when we initialize the values of A and B in a main function, that values are 5 and 6. So after calling the swap function, that values are swapped. Now the value of A is 6 and value of B is 5, and after the swapping again we are calling the printf function. We are declaring the printf function to print the values of A and B. So here also the values of that two variables are swapped. So this is how, using call by reference, we can swap the values of two variables. The next point in pointers is arithmetic and logical operators on pointers. So as we know that we can perform the arithmetic operation and logical operation on different variables. So which are all the arithmetic operations? Plus, minus, multiplication, division. These are the arithmetic operation. Logical operations are less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to. These are the logical operators. So we can perform these operations on pointers also. A pointer may be incremented or decremented. So which is an incremented operator? Plus plus is an incremented operator. Minus minus is a decremented operator. So when we want to increment the value of any variable by 1, we use the increment operator. For example, suppose the value of x is 10. So when you write a statement x plus plus, that value is incremented from 10 to 11. The same operation you can perform on the pointer also. What is a decrement operator? Decrement operator is used to decrease the value. Suppose the value of x is 10 and we want to decrement that value. So we'll write a statement x minus minus. So that value of x will be decrement from 10 to 9. And the same operation we can perform on the pointer variable. An integer may be added or subtracted from a pointer. Pointer variables may be subtracted from one another, and pointer variable can be used in comparison, equal to, not equal to, but usually only in the comparison to null. So these are all operations we can perform on the pointer variable. Then arithmetic operations on pointers. Okay, so now we understood what is the meaning of arithmetic operator, how we can apply that arithmetic operator on simple variable. Now we'll see how to apply the same operators on pointer. When an integer is added or subtracted from a pointer, the new pointer value is changed by integer times and the number of bytes in a data variable and points is pointing to. For example, if the pointer PTR contains the address of integer variable and suppose that address is 2000. So here, what is the value of this PTR? PTR is nothing but it is holding address of some other variable and that address is nothing but 2000. Then a statement PTR is equal to PTR plus 2. Here we are performing addition operation on pointer variable. Would change the pointer to 2000 to 2004. Why? Because one integer number requires a 2 byte of memory. As we are incrementing that value by 2, that is why 2000 will be incremented to 2004. A pointer variable points to an array element. An integer is added or subtracted to the pointer variable. Again, a few lines of code is given to understand the pointer arithmetic. Integer a of 10. This is how we declare the integer array in C. Then star p is which type of pointer? It's a integer pointer. Since it is an integer pointer, it is able to hold the address of another integer variable. So which integer variable we are referring over here? Array, integer array. But at a time we are referring only single element of that array. So p equal to, when you write a statement p equal to ampersand of a of 0. So which one is a of 0? A of 0 is nothing but the first element of that array. So what we are initializing over here? We are initializing the address of first element of array to the pointer variable. But when you write a statement asterisk p equal to 10, this means that I want to store the value 10 at this particular address. So what is the address over here? Consider the address over here is 1000. So at 1000 location, I want to store the value 10. Okay, the next statement is asterisk p plus 1. So when you write p plus 1, earlier the pointer is pointing to the 0th location, now it is pointing to the first location. Again at first location we want to store the same value, that is nothing but 10. Then printf p plus 3. So p plus 3 means what? We have incremented a pointer 3 times. So now earlier the pointer is pointing to this location, but now the pointer is pointing to the third location. Integer a of 10. In the same way, you can make that pointer a integer a of 10 and star. This is the next pointer. A of 2 is equal to 10. A of 3 is equal to 10. Printf %d a of 5. So this is how we can initialize the values of variable to the array, and we can initialize the values to the pointer variable also. If two pointers points to the element of same array, then there can be a subtraction or comparison between two pointers. Again, the example is given over here. Integer a of 10. This is a simple integer array we have declared. Now we have two pointer variable p and q, and we have a simple integer variable that is nothing but I. So when you write a statement, p is equal to ampersand of a of 2, means address of this particular element will get stored to p. In other way, we can say that p is a pointer which is pointing to this particular address a of 2. Okay, q is a pointer which is pointing to the address a of 5. Then we can write a statement I is equal to q minus p. What is q? Q is a pointer which is pointing to this location. For example, this location is 1050. Okay, and p is pointing to this location, and this address, suppose this address is 1000. So 1050 minus 1000 is equal to 50. So what is the value of I? I is equal to 50. In the same way, you can perform the different operation like I is equal to p minus q. A of 2 equal to a of 5 is equal to 0. We are initializing the value at this particular location as a 0. In the same way, again we can use the less than operator, equal to operator, and not equal to operator with the pointer variable. Now I hope you are clear with the pointer concept. Now we will move towards the next concept, that is nothing but a dynamic memory allocation. Before starting this concept, I want to explain you about the concept, what is the meaning of dynamic and what is the meaning of static. Dynamic means run time and static means compile time. So in programming language, dynamic is also referred as a late binding, and static is also referred as a early binding. Many times we face a situation where data is dynamic in nature. What is the meaning of dynamic? Basically, dynamic means keep on changing. And what is the meaning of static? Static means which remains same. For example, the value of x, once you initialize the value of x is equal to 10. So it remains same throughout the program. So we can say that it is a static value. But suppose instead of x variable, you are considering there a counter, and that counter keep on changing. Earlier the value of that counter is 0. After that counter value becomes 10, 20, 30, 40. This is what the value of counter is, keep on changing. And such variables are called as a dynamic in nature, whose value keep on changing and whose value remains same are called as a static variable. Amount of data cannot be predicted beforehand. Number of data, it keeps changing during the program execution. So that time we need the concept of dynamic memory allocation. Okay, when you study the concept of array, we know that while declaring an array, we need to mention the size of that array. For example, integer a of 10. So when you write a statement integer a of 10, we know that from this statement we'll come to know that we want to create an array variable which is able to hold the 10 integer number. One integer number requires 2 bytes of memory. So 10 integer number requires 20 bytes of memory. But suppose the size of that array is not fixed. It depends on some other variable. As per user requirement, you can change the value of the size of that array. So that time you cannot initialize the value. You cannot suppose you cannot initialize that, you cannot declare that variable, then you cannot initialize that value. So in such a situation we need the concept of dynamic memory location. अगर आपको पता है कि मुझे 10 इंटीजर नंबर सेव करने हैं, तो उसके लिए हमें 20 बाइट्स ऑफ मेमोरी लगती है. बट इफ यू डोंट नो द एग्जैक्ट नंबर, 50 नंबर सेव करने हैं या 30 नंबर सेव करने, सो यू कैन नॉट प्रेडिक्ट कि कितनी मेमोरी मुझे अलोकेट करनी है. Suppose that is decided at run time. So what happens, run time as per the user requirement. User की अगर requirement है कि I want to allocate 100 byte of memory, so I can initialize the 100 byte. Suppose the user की requirement है 10 byte of memory, so accordingly I can allocate a 10 byte of memory, and this concept is called as a dynamic memory allocation, and in short we can call it as a runtime memory management. C language requires number of elements in array to be specified at compile time. So what do you think, why we declare the array size before when we declare the array, why we give the size of that array? Because when you compile that program, compiler should know that how much byte of memory should I allocate. अगर आप 10 इंटीजर नंबर सेव करना चाहते हो तो आप 10 इंटीजर वेरिएबल के लिए एरे क्रिएट करते हो. सो व्हेन यू कंपाइल द प्रोग्राम, कंपाइलर विल कम टू नो दैट कि मुझे 20 बाइट ऑफ मेमोरी अलोकेट करनी है. बट सपोज द साइज ऑफ योर एरे इज नॉट फिक्स्ड और आपने 100 एलिमेंट के लिए एरे क्रिएट किया, एंड सपोज यू आर स्टोरिंग ओनली 10 एलिमेंट्स इन दैट एरे, सो इट इज नथिंग बट अ वेस्टेज ऑफ मेमोरी. जहां पे आप 100 एलिमेंट स्टोर कर सकते हो, वहां पे अगर आप 10 एलिमेंट स्टोर कर रहे हो, मीन्स यू आर वेस्टिंग द मेमोरी फॉर 90 वेरिएबल. एंड फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज यू हैव क्रिएटेड अ एरे ऑफ 10 एलिमेंट एंड सपोज यू वांट टू insert 11th element in that array, you will not able to insert that 11th element because the size of that array is fixed. So what is the solution for that? The solution for that is a dynamic memory allocation. User की जितनी भी requirement है, as per user requirement we can declare, we can allocate the memory at run time. अगर user बोलता है I want to store the 5 elements, so accordingly I will allocate a space. If user tells that कि I want to store the 50 elements, so accordingly I can allocate the space. So this concept is called as a dynamic memory allocation, and this is very important concept. Memory space required can be specified at the time of execution. We know that when you write a program, there are 2 steps. First we write a program, we compile that program, so compiler come to know that what code is in that program and whether there are any errors present or not. If errors are not present, you can successfully execute the program. So when you declare the array element, compiler को पता चलता है कि in that program we have one array, and that for particular array I want to initialize this much of memory. Okay, but the same thing you can do at run time. Compiler को पता नहीं है कि मुझे कितनी मेमोरी allocate करनी है, but at run time when you give the size of that variable as per the size of that variable, that compiler will allocate a memory at run time, and this concept is called as dynamic memory allocation. C supports allocating and freeing memory dynamically using library routines. So how does memory allocation happens in C program? So when you write a program, your program contains a local variable, your program contains a global variable, and instructions. Instructions are nothing but the actual code, whatever you are writing in a program. So for the global variable and instructions, you need a permanent storage. And for the local variable, there is no permanent space. That space varies depending on the variable. The program instructions and the global variables are stored in a region known as a permanent area. The local variables are stored in the another area called as a stack. Memory space between these two areas is available for the dynamic memory allocation. As I have shown you in this diagram, the free memory is available between the local variables and the global variable, and that space we can allocate using a dynamic memory allocation. Execution of a program, this free region is called as a heap. The size of heap keeps on changing. So how we can allocate a memory dynamically? Memory in C, there are memory allocation functions are available. Okay, you might have heard about the malloc function, calloc function, free function, and realloc function. Sorry. So what is a malloc function? It allocates a requested number of bytes and returns a pointer to the first byte of allocated space. malloc function क्या करता है? It allocates some memory dynamically at run time. आपको कितनी बाइट मेमोरी चाहिए? 100 बाइट, 200 बाइट. So accordingly it will allocate a memory and first address जो भी होता है, that first address will be allocated to the pointer variable. Alloc allocates a space of array of element, initializes them to 0 and then returns a pointer to the memory. So these are the memory allocation function. Next is free function. It frees a previously allocated memory. Suppose you have allocated a memory using malloc and calloc function. That memory frees using free function. Realloc. Suppose we have to modify the size of previously allocated space. So using malloc and calloc, suppose you have allocated 100 byte of memory and afterwards you realize that I want to allocate 150 byte of memory or 80 byte of memory. So that modifications you can do with the help of realloc function. So how to use these functions? Used to dynamically create a space for arrays in structure. Okay. So integer main function, one simple example is given over here. Integer a, this is a pointer variable, this is a simple integer variable, and this is how you can, using a pointer variable, you can use the malloc or calloc function. The syntax is given over here. Suppose you are using the calloc function, you need to integer star means convert that that's and n is how many elements you want to store. For example, the size of n is 10 into size of integer variable. What is the size of integer variable? 2 byte. 2 byte for one variable. So how many variables you are going to create? 10 variables. So 20 into 10 into 2 is 20. 20 byte of space will be allocated and that space, that address will be stored into the integer pointer. Then how to use the malloc function? Malloc function takes only single argument, n into size of integer variable. Suppose you want to create a 5 variables, and what is the size of single integer variable? 2. 5 into 2 means 10. 10 bytes of memory will be allocated by the malloc function and that base address will be stored into the pointer variable, that is nothing but a. Okay, this is again one more example is given over here. Spaces that has been dynamically allocated with either calloc or malloc does not get returned to the function upon function exit. The programmer must use free explicitly to return the spaces. Suppose you have allocated a space using malloc and calloc. So that space, suppose you want to free that space, you can use the free function. And how to use the free function? Free in bracket ptr. जिस पॉइंटर में आपने स्पेस अलोकेट किया है, you need to provide the same pointer as an argument to the free function. So using this free function, you can deallocate a memory. Okay. So thank you so much. This is all about the pointers and dynamic memory allocation. Thank you so much.